Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Uju TV. But before we begin, let this quote guide your reflection today. A soul is not condemned because of their sins, but because of their refusal to awaken from it. Today, let's talk about the consequences of a soul that have sinned. One, it lowers your vibration. Your frequency as a divine being is low. Two, it disconnects you from your true divine essence. Three, it messes with your consciousness. It clouds your consciousness as a divine being. Four, it blocks your ability. That ability you have to co-create with the universe will not be made available for you. It is not about hellfire. It's about being in separation with who you are as a divine being, peace and alignment with God. Those will not be made available for you because you have sinned. And it doesn't stop there. Because there is something that is called karmic lesson. Because for every action, there is a spiritual reaction. So the soul will be put through an experience that will help to correct the imbalance that the sin that they have committed created. It is not punishment though. It is school of life. It is called school of life. It helps the soul to grow, to love, and to be balanced. That is why personally I call this place correction center. Seriously, I call it correction center because it helps you to correct the imbalance. The experiences that people have helps them to correct the imbalance that the sin that they have committed created. So the karmic lessons are the physical experience that the soul go through in order to correct the imbalance that their sin created. But there is inner turmoil, the guilt, the regrets, the shame, those emotional prison, those emotions that create spiritual prison for the soul. Because from a state of being, the soul wants to align with its divine essence. But when a soul sins, that privilege is taken away until the soul decides to understand the karmic lesson, then heal from within by forgiving themselves. It's not that God is angry with the soul, no, because this is correction center, right? The divine expects you to understand the karmic lesson, then correct yourself. Then in correcting yourself, you go within and forgive yourself for those sins, right? And when you forgive yourself for those sins, then the divine mercy comes in. The divine mercy comes in because you have been able to understand the karmic lesson, that you have gone within to release yourself from that prison of shame, guilt, and regret that you created for yourself because of the sin that you committed. Now you have understood the karmic lesson, then you are back to yourself. Go within inside yourself and remember that it was a lesson and forgive yourself from within. Then divine mercy comes in. And at this point, this is where divine mercy and redemption plays. Because God is willing at every point that a soul decides to reconnect to its divine essence, to forgive and give you all the aid and help that you need in order to evolve and become the better version of yourself. So once a soul makes that decision, from the spot where a soul makes the decision to go back to its divine essence from a soul space, heaven gives you all the aid and support that you need in order to achieve that. You understand? So there is no internal condemnation. The internal condemnation, that's the hell that people mistake for hellfire, fire burning somewhere. It is the emotional prison that a soul is trapped in because of the sin that the person committed. That is the hellfire. You understand? And when a soul decides to free themselves from that prison and remember who they are, heaven is ready. God is ready at that particular point to give you everything you need in order to be able to reconnect to yourself. So today, I invite you, go within and promise yourself that you are ready to reconnect to your divine essence. It doesn't matter what the sin is. It doesn't matter what you did. This is a correction center. You understand? Promise yourself all the help and the aid you need in order to achieve that will be readily made available from you from the spot where you make that decision. So that you can free yourself from the hell, that prison, that spiritual prison that so many are already living in without knowing, but they are waiting for afterlife so that hell and heaven will play. It's playing here in your eye, in your very before, because so many people are already trapped in that prison without even knowing. So promise yourself that and watch heaven show you the way in order to walk out of that prison. Affirmation for today. My soul is free from the weight of guilt. I am worthy of love, forgiveness, and divine. Every day I choose growth and the light of my divine self. Thank you for joining me once again. And always remember that God's love is infinite and every soul is on a journey of returning to his divine light.